This is Terry Jones. Welcome to Explore Mixed Media with myself and Corinne Carpino. We are going to be doing Sumagashi today. Let me put my screen down and we will go with the Sumagashi. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Sumagashi, but what it is we've been exploring different uses for the sumi-e ink in the gel plate printing and collage and mixed media classes we are doing. So what I've got here is I've got a thing of water. And what we're going to do is we are going to float the sumi-e ink on the water, and then we are going to pull it up with different papers. I did do a whole bunch of different samples of them. And so what you'll see is you'll get papers that can look you can do a variety of patterns in the papers, and you get some very interesting papers coming out of this whole process. So today I have regular copy paper. I have some medical exam paper, and I have some wet strength tissue paper, I think, medical exam. Oh, and I have some other calligraphy paper. So let's see how far we're going to get with this. So the first thing that we do, so the process is, the idea is that the ink will float on the surface, and then we can pick up that floating ink. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm pouring some of the ink into a separate cup. And in this cup, I have a little bit of water and a little bit of dish detergent, because it'll act as a dispersant. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a brush, and I'm going to pull most of the moisture off of the brush. Then I'm going to dip it into my sumi-e ink. And I'm going to have another brush where I've already pulled most of the moisture off of this, that I will dip in my other ink. And so the process is, and it's kind of difficult, but the process is to just gently touch the ink to the surface. Now, the first time that this happens, sometimes the ink doesn't appear to be, there doesn't appear to be that much ink in because it gets darker as we go along. So, and then the longer I hold I need more dispersant. The longer I hold the dispersant in here, the farther out. I don't know if you can see that I have a little circle going. Oh, yours is working much better than mine, Corinne. Maybe I need.
Perfect circle, but I'm not
That's
sure that
okay.
my container is totally level either.
Right. So now there it goes again, and it goes into a circle. And now I'm purposely adding more of the dispersant to try to get some darker colors going. What I find is as the ink settles down in more, it seems to get darker,
Whoa.
like Corinne's. And here I'm putting two little dots, and I've got another dot happening here. And again, this is the dispersant. Now, if you put it too far down, if you
I
push,
see that my ink's dropping to the bottom.
that's why it drops to the bottom. So the too far down is your reason for dropping to the bottom. A lot of times I have to keep on um, mixing my dispersant. I have to keep on filling up my dispersant more than I fill up my inks. Because if you do too much, as Corinne's doing, you see you get the little.
Yeah, so I'm not
So
my ink's
you
dispersing in
are
the water.
you have to just touch the tip of your brush, and I have a problem with one of my brushes had a hair out. Just the very tip of the brush to the water and let it disperse itself. You see,
So it's falling.
Okay,
Does that
so
mean I have too much disbursement in the water?
did you put a disbursement in? Did you put
On my brush, my other brush.
no? It's falling because you're not, it's really hard to explain. Literally, if I go through, I'll make mine fall. If I go through and go down, well, did mine didn't fall. So today mine's not falling for you. Oh, there it is a little bit. You see how if I put more than the tip of my brush in, it'll fall down. I mean,
Okay.
literally, it's the first four hairs of the brush, Corinne. It's kind of like you're hoping that the water will act as a you can, if you look really closely here, you can see mine is just dispersing out while I put the tip just very, 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 very tip in. And I tend to make my circles, my clear circles bigger because as I get more and more and more out, the black continues to disperse more than the black starts overtaking my circle. See, I can make this circle, I can just hold this and make this circle really, really thin and it'll get darker. But it's really hard to do this. It literally is just the very, very tip of the brush. I know when I saw Catherine Rains, it looked so simple because she would just tip brush, tip, tip brush, tip, tip brush, tip. But it doesn't, it's not that simple. It, you really need to not put the brush anywhere further than just at the very surface. You'll see almost a little bubble. I don't know if I can get this close enough. It looks almost like there's a little bubble when you touch it to the surface. It makes a little tiny bubble. If you pop that bubble, then it falls down to the bottom. Okay. Well, I'm going to stop at mine right now because I think I have
A lot of practice.
it does take practice. So I'm going to stop at mine and I am just going to take a piece of, this is just copy paper because I want to show you the kind of the whole process. I'm going to take the piece of copy paper and I'm going to, I think I got it the right size. I'm going, well, I didn't quite get it the right size. So I'm putting it down in the, on the surface and then I'm going to pull it up. And what you will see is this beautiful pattern has come up. Now I'm going to put that flat on the side. Some people will take a squeegee and squeegee it off. I don't necessarily do that. I just let it, I put it on another piece of paper so that it'll soak down and then I'll have my piece.
Okay, so this is medical exam paper and obviously it's folded.
So the medical exam paper, I'm going to,
Although I do have an interesting pattern.
right, you have a really interesting pattern on it.
Let me get rid
So,
of
and
this.
sometimes what I will do is I will use something. So this is, again, medical exam paper. There's still a pattern in there. I
Right.
want to put the shiny side down,
Right.
not the other side. So I'm just going to put the shiny side down in here, just a little. And then when I pull it up, this should pull this wonderful pattern that's in there. Can you see the pattern that's in there?
Yes.
So it will pull up the pattern that's in there. This is not as easy as it looks.
No, it's not.
I mean, it does. And if you have any extra little pieces there, you can just use, you know, something like a piece of copy paper and just go below the surface and then go to the edge and pull it up. And then it cleans off your entire surface again. Now, your big problem, my suggestion for you, just distraction wise, if you can, is to, now you're going all the way down to the bottom. That won't work.
No, I
It's
was
only
trying to
the
see if I
surface.
could get some of that
So
off.
what I would do, if you can, just go take it, dump it down a sink and
Some new water.
get new water, because that's going to super distract you.
Okay.
Okay. So it is really, really, I wish that I could get this close enough. I don't think that I can get this close enough to really show you. Let me see if I come really close, super close. Okay. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm going to get super close. Okay. So this is my water. I'm going to wait till you get back, Corinne, so I can show you what I'm speaking about. This one has the. So it is, the very important part is, do you see how pointy my brush is? So a pointy brush is very important. And a brush that holds a lot of water. These are the Yasutomo China calligraphy brushes, and they're very good brushes. I think we got 3 for $14.95 from Amazon. So that's really important to have the brush. And it needs to be able to, so the brush has to be able to point to a very fine point. Now this one's full of the of the ink. And when I'm going to pull this over here and kind of show you. So when I pull this off out of here, I make this brush really point very, very, very pointy. Okay. And so then I've got this really super, I'm trying to get this super, usually I'm going to try to do it a little sideways so you can see the bubble that comes out. So then I have to bring it down to just touch the surface. And what you'll see is it looks like you can see it dispersing in a slight bubble. And then I'm going to bring the next one down. So now I'm having a problem with, I need more ink on my brush. So I'm going to put more ink on my brush and I'm going to make it more. So the longer I hold it, the more it disperses. And then I'm going to hold this one. And I don't know if you can see that it almost looks like there's a little bubble or a dimple that happens. And with the dispersion, you can actually put it a little far deeper down, but with the ink itself, it doesn't work that way. So here I'm just, and at first it really goes out far. And as you continue this process, the it seems that um, the black becomes more, comes darker. So here, see how that one's becoming just a little darker? And I'm letting this, I'm just forcing these out. As I say, the dispersion doesn't really go to the other side, but whoops, see, I went a little too far there. Dispersant. Are you having better success? You look like you're
Yes,
having
so
much better success, Corinne.
much better.
Yeah, it's that it
I'm
takes.
going very slow so I can really watch where the tip of my brush is.
Right. And that is the most important part. And
So this
getting
is
your brush really full of ink is really important too. I filled mine with more ink now. And then I pushed it too far and it went down. I've got a little down, but that's okay. I'm going to clean this off and I'm going to put more dispersant in this and make my dispersant go much bigger. And you guys can't see all of this because you can see where I made my mistake, but that's okay. But what you can see is my ink is starting to get darker as I come out the more I put it in, and it just keeps on becoming darker. And I can, if I want, do lots of tiny, as I said, I can do lots of tiny rings. But the longer I hold this in like a downward manner, the more it gets darker as I do it. Mine's getting very dark. And then like I have a lot now in here, and I can also take this dispersant and maybe actually put more pattern in it if I want. I could put some dispersant in the very middle there. I can put more pattern. I can also I can blow it, and it's going to give you this interesting pattern that looks like it gets more raggedy edges when you blow it. And now I think I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to try to pull this up on a piece of medical exam paper, because I think this would be a great overlay. And silly me, my medical exam paper is too wide. So I'm going to cut half an inch off.
So this is really almost, for me, I'm finding I have to go really slow, which is okay, but it's almost like this quiet meditative process.
It is very, I mean, there's a whole meditative process with this. So I'm going to come down and pull this up now. And again, I'm pulling it up and I'm flipping it over and I'm putting it flat on another surface. And I may even, I do have these squeegees, and if it's really, really wet when I pull it, sometimes I will squeegee off just a little bit so it stops running in, so the darks stops running in the whites, because especially the medical exam paper, that can become a problem. And I'll put it on place. And so now I really don't have much left on the top of that. I could just say, okay, that'll just inform the next whatever. So Korinne, it looks like for me that you're not doing enough of the white or of the water with the water, just the water. But
Okay.
we'll see if that, well, you did get some good lines in there. That's very nice. The problem is that it will, what's the word I want to say? It will kind of intrude into the white spaces. So I usually exaggerate my white spaces
Okay.
so that it will,
You want to try
um,
it again?
yep.
See what else is left on here.
Okay. Yeah, it's always fun to see what else is left down there.
Much.
I'm going to look and kind of pick up. And sometimes I will use like a 5x7 piece of just copy paper and pick up a bunch of what's left on top of there. And just kind of pick it up, but I don't seem to have one at the moment. Thought I did. Very well. So
Try again. So more disbursement. Exaggerate the white.
exaggerate the white, yes. Exaggerate the white is what we want to do a bit. I may over exaggerate my white. Oh, let me get mine back down to where you guys can actually see what I'm doing instead of in this. So here I'm dispersing again. Oh, wait, which one am I? What is this? That's black. Well, that was good, Terry. So I put black in both pieces. I've So I've got to clean out one so I can make it my disperser. I put my disperser in the black. That wasn't a good idea. So here, there I go. And so the longer I hold it, I can hold it really long and it just keeps on going out. Yes, yours is looking really good, Corinne. Do you see how it gives you a little more control if
Yes,
you give it a little more space rather than just a single little dot for the disbursement?
yes,
And the thing with the disbursement is you can't mess up as much on with I mean, I can move this disperser around and it'll say change the size of it. Look what I just did. I just got everything moving around.
yeah.
And and then I can come back and do another circle and it'll change everything. So I can, here's my disbursement. I got to
Mm-hmm.
my get this working. So it makes a circle. There I go. And so as I hold it, it'll make a circle. If I move it, it'll make something else. And so that's another way that I can continue to control kind of some of the stuff that happens. But if I don't leave a fairly decent amount of white space around things, I lose things. And you don't even just only have to go from the center. I really love what's happened with some of this edges that I have going in mine here. So I may make another center right here and see what happens now if I put another circle in there and now another circle. Whoops. Well, that's an interesting little, I have a little thing happening there. And again, having fun with spaces and getting and building, letting it just build. I can hold this down and it just gets thicker and bigger and thicker as long as I don't push it past the surface. But I like the imperfections. I like let me see what happens if I swirl my center. So now I've got you've got some beautiful things happening too.
Thank
So
you.
now I've got all these beautiful things happening. And I may want to try a piece of, I really like, when I have like beautiful stuff happening like this, let me try a piece of the sketch paper by Yasutoma. So I'm going to kind of put it down. And I thought I cut these perfectly, and evidently I cut them a quarter of an inch wrong. Because what I want to be able to do is I want to lay it kind of starting in the center and just lay it down and then pull it straight back up. So I have almost everything on it. I don't know if you can see that, but that is just gorgeous. And then I'm going to put it flat down on a piece of paper somewhere else. And maybe pull a little bit of the wood off, but I'm just going to let it sit. Sometimes when I put it on other pieces of paper and then I get another interesting piece of something. And this I have just, sometimes I pick this up and sometimes I just say, let me see what happens if I put something really bold in this. So I've got my disperser, and I might,
We can pull up.
huh?
I'm gonna lay this down.
Yeah. And then pull it straight up. Just pull it up and then lay it flat.
All right, and so, yay, look at what I got.
Wow, it's gorgeous.
It is
It is
beautiful.
absolutely beautiful.
Hey, this is really cool stuff once you figure it out.
Once you figure it out, it's really cool. And you can get different color. I have different color sumi-e inks. You can buy what they call sumagashi inks, this is actually called sumagashi, the whole process is.
Right.
But you
I
don't
have
have,
Sumanagasha inks. I just have to see if they're still good.
right. So this is just kind of having fun, making different patterns and just seeing what's going to happen with the different patterns. A lot of times, like what happened here is I already had a little bit of a pattern in there and it just went off to the side, and that's fine because I'm going to see what happens if I use a skewer through this. And I have two or
So,
three different places that I'm just kind of, I've got three circles happening in some way or another here.
so
And
Tara, I used a piece of copy paper just to clean the
yeah,
top
isn't that
off her and came
beautiful?
up with a beautiful piece of paper.
Yeah, I do a lot of seconds. I didn't have enough. Mine really pulled well, so it didn't
Uh-huh.
have enough. But yes, when you put a piece of copy paper to clean it up, sometimes it comes out with really fabulous.
All right, so this is just too much fun.
It is too much fun. I'm going to
Gonna make
try,
great
and we're getting
paper.
toward the end, so I'm going to try a piece of, I got another piece of the better Yasutoma paper here. And, no, and I'm going to just take this skewer and kind of slowly go through and make a design. And even as it's still moving, I'm going to put this paper down on it lightly. Oh, I forgot that it's ever so slightly too. Okay, and then I want to pull it off, and then I got this great design. Look at that.
Oh,
Isn't that,
that's beautiful.
it's gorgeous. And then I'm going to throw it off to the side and let it dry. Preferably on a piece of paper that if it decides. And so now you're right. I have a really fabulous piece here that I think, so the copy paper prints kind of what I would call the best. In other words, it doesn't move as much. So when I have this top here, like you just had on yours, and I'm going to do the
Mhm.
same on mine, I think. Well, I'm just going to have to because I made it. Okay, so I'm going to place it all down and try to get the very corner here that I messed up because mine is too big, but still, again, a beautiful piece of paper. Look at that.
That's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. It's going to lighten a little, but that would
Mhm.
be a fabulous background for something. So unfortunately, girls, um, we can't show all of our papers because they're sitting over here in a very wet pile. And if I pick them up, I mean, some of them I might be able to pick up, like this one, I can pick up and show you. But a lot of them are just still too wet. This one is the the piece that came, the second piece from that first one after it swirled. But this is a fabulous way to make papers. Oh, Corinne, that's going to
Well,
be so nice.
I think so. We'll see. We
Okay.
can, after the paper is dry, I'll put mine on the Facebook page for Explore Mixed Media.
Okay, I will put mine too. You
Yeah, so if
can,
anyone's interested, they can go see what we got in the end.
what we've got afterwards. And the other thing that you can do is you can put it, what I need to do is also I tend to have to put it under, now the rice paper's not so much, but the copy paper and the sketch pad, I
Yeah.
end up having to, after they dry, put them under some books to flatten out
Okay. Good to
because
know.
they'll be pretty ripply.
Okay.
So I'm thinking, so next week, what we're going to do is we're going to combine, we're going to take all of these pieces of paper we have, and
Hmm.
we're going to start looking at how we can put them all together and tear them up and use them a bit in composition. So we want to start looking at all of our papers and looking at what we can do with them. And some of them might just be a small little card that we decide to make out of them. Some of them might be something bigger. We are going to have a live where we're all going to end up doing about either an 8x10 or a 9x12 collage
Cool.
using some of the papers from February and March. And I will have a project going up, which is probably going to be a slightly different way of doing some of these papers. And it's just a special project for our patrons only. So I will have that up before the end of the week. So that is a problem when you drop it like that. But still, look, you've got a lot working there.
No, so this is a clear piece of paper. It's that wet strand tissue paper that's almost clear.
It doesn't work very that well for, well, yours is working pretty well.
Well, we'll see what we get
It
when we
doesn't
try,
work
but
that, I should have mentioned that that one that's really, really, really clear, that's almost shiny on both sides,
yeah,
doesn't pick up well. I've
really.
tried that one because I
But I
thought it would
like
be
that
fabulous.
beautiful design, which I will create again something, and I'll pick it up on sketchbook paper.
Yep. Okay, well, I think that we're actually done for today. If
Okay.
anybody is interested, please check us out on exploremixedmedia.com. We do have a patronage site where you get extra, you'll get a live with all three of us that's an hour long, and you'll also get another project. So we have more information that's a little more in depth and not free. And we also have these free Fridays. So thank you very much. And thank you, Corinne, for being willing to do something you've never done in front of camera before. It's
Very
always
cool. So thanks, Terry. It was a great learning experience, and I can't wait to try more of this.
okay.
All
See you
right.
guys
See you next
later.
Friday.
Bye.